I told you I'm coming for you, I'm coming through you, either way, it don't matter.
Welcome to another episode of BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG 31.
Hey, why they so mad at you? A cock to the distance, no, I'm the raddest dude. Plus the flow is on point and it's tactical. Don't make my goose gon' get after you. Don't feel bad for that dude. Leaving behind, girl, that's what you had to do. Lord, say this is not something for you. This is shit that got me going prehistoric. I'ma beat the people that been fiending for it. If you see the problems, I can ignore it. I've been in the trenches, I've been bleeding for it. Go nuclear like you can nuke 'em. I rebuke 'em if they attack, then I juke 'em. Fuck 'em like Michael, I juke 'em. Hit 'em with the kids, I got I'ma bring it to the pessimist. Hope you niggas get the message. This is it for the pessimist. Killing demons like an exorcist. Passive aggressive is over. This shit for the soldiers and all of the warriors. Know that the battle is glorious. Until my whole team is victorious, bitch, I'm a monster. Bitch, I'm a monster. I'm saying bitch, I'm a monster. If I snuck up in the bedroom and touch you while you sleep, it's me, yeah. I'm fucking with you, I ain't gonna get you out of this track. TCJ made it. Niggas can't believe what I'm doing. I'm a man like a cat hoeing 9 lives. Summer 18, excreasing the 9, 10 times. Sending these cats lost, but I'm starting hard.
Welcome to another episode of BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG 31. Today, Nation, we got another very special guest in the building. It's the legendary EROCK. How you doing today, my guy? Thanks for stopping through.
Yo, what's happening, man? So thanks so much for having me on. I can't wait for the season to start. We are only a couple days away to get back to Eagles football against the Detroit Lions, against an opponent that we should get a dub right off the bat, and I'm excited. I'm so pumped to see my Birds back playing football.
Right? It's almost like they were in my dream the other night. I was like, man, is the game on already? No, it's not. It's not ready yet. We got 2 more days. We got to relax, sit back and relax. I've been talking a lot of mess this offseason, and I am super pumped about this roster. You know how it is. And obviously, we are on the same page. I seen your last video. You know what I'm saying? That was amazing and awesome. If you're not checked out EROCK, go subscribe. He has some of the most legendary skits ever, that I've ever seen. So, you're a goat out, man. You're a goat, man.
Thank you.
How many takes does it take? I always had a question. How many takes does it take you to actually get some of these down? Like what's the most takes you've ever had in terms of like nailing down a perfect video like that?
Usually I try to take, if I feel like I nailed it on the first one, it's just, and sometimes that happens, sometimes I'll do 2 or 3, and then in the editing software, just decide which one I like the best. So sometimes I gotta, if I'm really, really, really trying to make a point and I want to nail a take because it's not only a point that I'm trying to make and it's long-winded, but it's like also inflection and you're going and timing and everything, maybe I'll take 5 or 6, and just to make sure I put it out there, man. Because I'm a perfectionist,
right?
Like it takes a long time to edit these things. I got to go through a lot of footage, and I try to bring it the best in each and every time.
How far do you actually live from the stadium?
I live about an hour away.
So you just take that drive down and go get it done.
Well, thankfully, and I hope work isn't listening to this, but sometimes I work for a company that's headquartered just south of Philadelphia, so sometimes it affords me the opportunity to go and visit the link, and piggybacking off like a visit to headquarters. So sometimes it works out in my favor.
Like, I'm not going to spoil the last video and say what your record prediction was, but let's get into it, man. The offseason, man. So exciting. The bucket list has been filled. How were you feeling about the offseason?
The offseason was wild. Wasn't it? Because we started out this offseason, and everybody kind of forgets where we're at now, as opposed to like when we started free agency, it was day 1. You got Hassan Reddick. Okay. Great job, Howie. You nailed down an edge pass rusher. That's what.
Good job.
A need. Good job. So what else? What else? And there was nothing. You know, I mean,
Nothing. Dry.
it just
Desert
dried.
dry.
It just dried up, and it dried up
Mhm.
from the first day of free agency. Granted, we signed Zach Pascal, but that's not blowing anybody away. He was like wide at that point in the depth chart. He was wide receiver 4. So how hyped can you get over something like that? So from the first day of free agency to literally the first night of the draft, shit was dry. Like it
Yeah.
was just like, what are you doing? And then it was the draft, and then it was Bradbury, and then it was, you know, during the draft trading for AJ Brown, and then domino to fall, and the guy we just got from the Saints. You know what I mean? So it's almost like the back half of the offseason was the one where they crammed all that into it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that long ago, day 2 free agency, we were going, all right, and what else are we doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
People
feeling
were ready to execute Howie, man. They're like,
yeah.
come on, Howie, that's not enough. Come
Yeah.
on, Howie. But now everybody's, hell, Howie Roseman. Hell, Howie Roseman. It's that night and day, man. Like you said, after that draft, he really kicked into another gear. It makes him see, it shows how smart the guy really is, you know. I never was really that down on Howie. You know, I used to get a little slack for not getting that down on Howie. You know, I look more towards the players itself. You know, some of the players, they should have been better players than what they were. You know what I'm saying? They were expected to be, and they kind of should have been, you know, and they just didn't turn out. But, you know, he was always great at, you know, contracts. He's always great at moving money around. You know, he's always great at picking up free agencies, you know, free agents. So, you know, it was a draft that was his big you know, flaw. And I think Nick and these boys came in and they definitely helped change his mind on that one, you know, helped change the owner's mind. Cause we heard a lot, you know, how even talking about like how, you know, when they did the whole, you know, Justin Jefferson thing, you know, it was like more of a thing where they went for, you know, specific need as opposed to overall talent. You know, that was a, you know, excuse he gave us, but you know,
That was the
I
excuse.
think he's grown a lot, man. He's definitely grown a lot. We're picking up SEC boys, and you know we're actually getting good football players.
But you can't deny the fact that he's grown, and some of the stuff that he's grown to do, I think it was a little obvious to the rest of us. In other words, don't overthink it. I don't watch a lot of college football. I'll be the first to cop to that. I'm a very I watch the bowl games. I don't even know if you can call that a casual football
Is
fan.
Penn State your college team?
I don't have a college team. I didn't go to.
Yeah, I don't even watch it enough to even have a college team.
Yeah, well, I know Penn State's struggling, but other than that, I mean, I couldn't tell you what they're doing. But even as I sit here in my house somewhere in Jersey, I mean, I can go and download a list, you know, pay for a subscription that'll tell me the top 200 college prospects every single week. So even I could probably go, oh, is that guy good?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Does he come from a big school? Okay, yeah, go get him. You know, it's not that hard. So don't
Right.
overthink it. And, you know, as silly as that sounds out loud, I almost think that that's what he was doing a lot of times, just overthinking it and trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And look at me, you know, I'm so like, he never called himself a genius. He's a very humble guy, but it's almost like I want to let everyone know how smart I am.
Yeah.
Don't think it. Just draft who you got to draft. From big school, big program. Hell, even I could do it. And I think he's listening to his scouts more. And I'm right with you. I wasn't a Howie basher. I was a Howie defender, albeit not a very vocal one, because it's not.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
Behind the scenes, like yeah.
Truther is a very lonely island to be on. But I'm glad that everyone that even was bashing him is like, all right, he had a good offseason. Now they got to prove it on the field, which is exactly what they're going to do starting Sunday.
Yes, man. Starting Sunday, man. Let's go with, you know, what were the best moves? I know it's easy to say. Give me some underrated best moves the Eagles made this offseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go with the AJ Brown because we already know that was an awesome move. You know, maybe not even the Bradbury. You know, but give me some of your favorite moves besides like the top 2, top 3 guys.
I really like the Reddick signing because I think that he's going to be put in a role where he will excel at, which is rushing outside linebacker in a 3-4. And I think just having him alone frees up having him, especially in that scheme, and then drafting Jordan Davis, who I believe will be splitting time with Fletcher Cox in the middle, not because Fletcher Cox is getting older or his performance is down. I really think you're going to see Fletcher Cox split out to defensive end in a 3-4. He's got that Richard Seymour type build to him. Do that. Let Jordan Davis be your Vince Wilfork.
Yeah.
And because you have an outside edge rushing linebacker, you don't have to worry necessarily about the other linebackers blitzing. So you can have a Kaiser White who's great in space and a ball hawk. You know what I mean? And you can let the other linebackers do what they have to do. So I really think the Hassan Reddick thing was underrated because it was evidence of the transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Otherwise, you wouldn't assign them. And it was really, when you look at it, everything else was kind of built around. Hassan Reddick was the first domino to fall in that transition.
We needed that piece. Boom, we got him. Yeah. And even like you said, 3-4-4, 3-4-4, 5-2. We can do a lot of different things with a guy like Reddick. You know what I'm saying? Plus, he always still wants to get respect for being able to coverage. He goes, I am a linebacker too. You know what I'm saying? I can cover a little bit. I prefer to go after the quarterback, but I can still get a little coverage in there too as well. And he's been working on that too as well. So that's good, man. Jordan Davis, you mentioned him, man. Jordan Davis, man. Are you excited about this guy as much as I am? Like, he makes Fletcher Cox look like a little guy. And Fletcher Cox, the whole time of Fletcher's career, it was like, Fletcher's just the best run stopping, DT. What's his name over there in the Rams that just got blown out yesterday? Oh my God. Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was the best pass rushing, DT in the league. And it was like them two. But this guy is like a mix as if both of these guys had a baby. I know that's not possible, but if they both had a baby, they spit out this guy right here, Jordan Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like the speed, the athleticism, the size, all that stuff that can't get taught. Plus, he came from one of the best defenses there is in college, man. How excited are you for Jordan Davis? And have you seen him up close in person? How much of a monster does this guy look on the field?
He is. Well, first and foremost, when you talk like an Aaron Donald type, you're talking about a 4-3, and Donald will move all along the defensive line and always keep the offense guessing. So that's why he's, a better quote unquote pass rush defensive tackle, which he is. He's absolutely phenomenal. Usually when you have your 3-4s, like a Vince Wilfork, like a Haloti Ngata, it's just a big ass dude meant to take on double and triple teams if need be. So I don't anticipate Jordan Davis at the end of the season having 10 sacks. But what I do anticipate him is every down that he's in there being so incredibly disruptive, pushing the middle of the pocket, which then feeds Hassan Reddick and the other in the defensive ends. Brandon Graham's coming back. Josh Sweat is coming off of a Pro Bowl season. Derek Barnett, for some reason, is still here. I don't know why, but he is. You know what I mean? So I don't expect Jordan Davis to flash a lot of big numbers, but I expect Jordan Davis to have a big impact on the game. As far as his size, like you usually see rookies and like they look good in the combine and then they look good at draft night. And then when they come in and there's taking pictures and then you see them next to like, if you draft a linebacker and put him next to an NFL linebacker, they might be the same height. They ain't the same size.
Right.
That professional linebackers have been in a way, been just catered to by trainers and dietitians, and his body is a fine-tuned machine, and every athletic multi-million-dollar piece of equipment you could ever want. And this guy's coming out of college, so usually you're like, oh, well, give him a year with this professional weight training staff, and he'll look just as big. Jordan Davis, day one, stands next to Fletcher Cox, and you're like, oh my God, you're bigger than Fletch.
Is that his little brother?
Yeah,
that's what I seen when I seen that picture. I was like, "Is that his little brother? Like, what's going on?" Fletcher been like one of the biggest guys in the league. Like, we know him for being a monster. That's what he's known to be. And when he stood next to him, I was like, "How does he make Fletcher look like a little kid?"
And what's terrifying? What's absolutely terrifying? Like, Georgia's a good program. They've got they got a lot of resources down there behind them, as far as athletic trainers and weight rooms, and I bet you some of their facilities might look better than, some health facilities.
Yeah.
However, this kid is still yet to be in a professional environment with people whose sole purpose in life is to just make you a fine-tuned machine.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't even gotten swole yet.
No. Remember him talking about that? He was like talking to his mom, like, she look like you something down. He's like, man, this is like the smallest I've ever felt. Like, and I was telling people, like, you gotta realize he had a role in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And that size, he was at 360. That was a role that they had for him there. And the closer it got to draft, you start seeing him slim down. A little bit more, a little bit more. No matter what they say about him, he was always in on key downs. He was always in when the game mattered the most. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters to me. When you're on a program like that, there's a lot of garbage time, so they say, when you play for a team like Georgia, and as good as they were that year, they won a championship. So, there was some time he wasn't in there. But man, to see him go from 360 to 340 by the time the scouting combine came around, it's like, wow, that he was serious about it. He's like, yeah, it's like, I don't have school. I'm a professional. I get paid to get in shape and be out here. And he already has that mindset about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's already in the game, like before the game even started. He's ready to roll. And then to have guys like Fletch, Hargrave, even Milt Williams, man. Milt Williams was a beast last year, and the limited time he had, like, he did his thing. He definitely impressed me. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was last year. So you even got him itching and scratching, ready to be a starter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to come out even harder. So to have them two coming off that second rotation, or maybe even by the middle of the season, Jordan Davis might make it to that first rotation. You never know what happened. But it's exciting to see, man. Like, to know that he's even lost weight since, I think they say, like 335 right now. And if he ran a 4.7 at 340, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? How much more athletic do you think he's gotten since the combine? Like, wow. Like, does he need to do anything else? Like, he's a monster. They say they haven't really seen too many defensive tackles ever in the history of football come out that size, that much athleticism. And I think people are really sleeping on Jordan Davis. Like, I know people think, it's going to be cool, but I think he might even be a starter by the end of the season. Like, he might even take over that range from either Hargrave or Fletch. I would rather it be Fletch if I had to choose, because Fletch is on his way out the door. And Hargrave's still kind of younger. He got some years left. I want to see him keep progressing and being a good DT, and maybe, switch him out with Fletch. Then you have Milton be that number 3 guy moving forward. But the guy's gonna be a monster, and I think, like you said, you don't expect him to get all these sacks, but I think he can still get them. Like, you watched that dude Buffalo yesterday, the middle of the pack. You know what I'm saying? The middle of that line of scrimmage. We're going against the Lions, man. The middle of the line, their line is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you're gonna see the impact coming. That's where you're gonna see guys like him. I don't think we've seen it. Like, it's kind of like the Jalen Hurts effect too, a little bit. Like, we haven't seen this. Jalen, as much improvement as he needs, he's still the only quarterback ever 4,000 yards, 1,000 yards receiving. He's still the only quarterback in the history of this sport. With Jordan Davis, like, we see his size. We seen big guys, like you said, the Via Veas and stuff. They haven't been as tall as he has been. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been as big as he has been. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have the athleticism like Via Vega on steroids. Via is a Pro Bowler. He is a comparable DT in this league, one of the best, but he didn't have the athleticism and ability that Jordan Davis had. We haven't seen a DT like this. So we're like, of course, as fans, we kind of like shelter back a little bit and go, okay, we just want him to be decent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like, hey, he's gonna be good. We don't know how good, but he's gonna be good. But in reality, like, this dude can be like the best DT ever. Like, that's his ceiling to me. It's like, he could be the best DT ever. If you can't tell me, he got the agility of a Aaron Donald on the size of a Fletcher Cox and even bigger, and not produce, a lot more. I don't like want to put pressure on the kid, but his mom's an Eagles fan. That's another side of it. You know what I'm saying? You got mama at home like, boy, you my favorite team. Go out there and make mama proud. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Jordan, yeah, I got it, mom. I got it. Let me go hit this gym a little harder. Let me go pump this weight a little harder. Like, things like that. That's the difference with this team. I feel like we got so many like side plots to the story, with a lot of these players, the Kaiser Whites, the Reddicks coming back to the area, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother game that we thought they were good on their other teams. But now that they have family coming in the game, now that they have support coming in the game, that's gonna make them play at an even higher level that you can't quantify on stats and looking at film and all that stuff. Like, this is going to be something that's coming from these guys that, even AJ Brown, Jalen's best friend. Like, I know it's a big deal, it's not a big deal, whatever. But that alone, man, you can be like out of football like me and like go see my best friend. We can go out there and play football. I think I'm the best. I know he's gonna make every catch that I throw to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even the quarterback, but I know he got me. And have that at your disposal, man. It's just something that a lot of these teams don't have.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to be your surprise player this year? The player we're not talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just going to have an awesome season. We're like, wow, I didn't really expect him. I didn't think he needed to do it, but he did it.
Yeah, I think Kenny Gainwell's role on this team is going to be like an X factor. Because we're talking about the passing game and we're talking about the A.J. Brown and we drafted Smitty in the first round, of course, Zach Pascal. And it's almost a little bit of addition by subtraction because now Jalen Rager's no longer here. J.J. Whiteside's no longer here. Okay, addition by subtraction. So we keep harping on the passing game and harping on the passing game when in reality, the bread and butter of this team last year, once they went through that kind of awkward phase of finding themselves, was in the run game. Okay, so we had like one of the top running offenses in the league. What running backs, like when you think top running offenses in the league, you will hear people rattle off like a Derrick Henry. Oh, no, it wasn't the time. All right, well, what about this one? No, okay, well, what about this one? No, okay, well, what about this? Because we don't have like a true bell cow running back.
Mm-hmm.
Now I like Miles. I like a running back with a chip on his shoulder. I like a running back who's in a contract year because they got something to prove both to themselves and to their next contract, right? So I like all of that, and I like him as a player. Can you depend on him to stay healthy and on the field? I don't know. Can you depend on him? He has his good games. He has his off games. So if the bread and butter is still going to be the run game, something you can always fall back on like a crutch, we're like one running back away. We're one Miles Sanders injury away or missing playing time away from that being an absolute disaster. Because you can't, listen, I love Boston Scott. He's a 5'6" dude. I'm a 5'6" dude. I felt alone in the 5'6" category once Darren Sproles hung him up, but I was so happy.
That's why I love Darren. Darren's a GOAT.
Yeah, I'm so happy we have another guy on the team to kind of carry that short dude flag for us. Okay, go get it, Boston Scott. Reality is you're not an every down back. You can't be. You can't be every down back at that size. All right, so if he's not an every down back, and Miles will tend to miss time due to injury and have his good games and his off games. It really comes down to Gainwell. Like, you need a big season out of Gainwell. Miles can't catch the ball out of the backfield either. So Gainwell's got to fill the role with that. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's got this year, how he's matured, because that could have been one of, we just talked about Howie being the smartest guy in the room. That was an easy pick that late in the draft to pick that kid up. And I'm excited to see what he can do this year.
2 questions then. Do you think the Eagles need a big body back, or do you think that the line that we have means you don't really need a big body back? You know what I'm saying? You can have, like Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith can have, you know what I'm saying? He's not that big. He's the leading rusher of all time because he had the line. You know what I'm saying? Is there one of those situations with the Eagles, or do you really feel like we do need a big body back? First question. Second question is, do you think Miles is going to be here after this season? You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard you say, you're cool with him. You got to stay healthy. Miles is still one of the top, yards per carry backs out there. Miles is still, he put up like close to 800 yards last year without a touchdown. Yes. And we know why that kind of happened. He did a lot of running. Kenny Gainwell got his touchdowns. Boston Scott got his touchdowns. Howard got his touchdowns. And Jalen Hurts racked up 10 more touchdowns. To throw on top of it. So the ball was getting rushed into the end zone. It just still happened to be not his number when he was in the game. So do you think that kind of takes away from him too as well? How do you see the situation working out?
Well, first of all, do we need to answer them in order? Do we need a big-bodied back? No. Would I like a big back? Yes, very, very much so, but not in the sense that we need a Derrick Henry and every down big body back. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I love the idea of the running back by committee, which has been incorporated by the Eagles ever since they won since before really they won the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's running back by committee, and if you revisit that Super Bowl roster, who'd you have? LeGarrette Blount. There's your big body back. Okay, who's your scat back? Darren Sproles. All right, that fits a different role, a different style, a different weapon, a different technique you can use.
Uh-huh.
And so what else do we got? We got Corey Clement. He's kind of like that tweener. He's kind of your Carell Buckhalter to your Brian Westbrook. He's like that, every man back. He can catch pretty good. He can run pretty. He does everything pretty good. All right, well, shit. Why don't we add another one in Jay Ajayi for the
Mm-hmm.
postseason? You know what I mean? Late at the trade deadline. Why don't we add another guy to that stable? So I'm a huge fan. And if you notice during the 2017 season, like LeGarrette Blount would have his day.
Mm-hmm.
Not San Diego. Darren Sproles would have his day. Corey Clement would have his day. Jay Ajayi would have his day. Because you just take a look at all right, this defense struggles against a smaller scat back.
Yeah.
43, it was 43's week this week. Or it was, this defense really struggles against big backs that pound it in the middle. All right, LeGarrette, you're up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had a variety. It's almost like the wide receiver position, the way it is now.
I was just about to say that. That was so funny. That was what I was thinking when you were thinking that. I'm like, you're saying exactly what we got the wide receiver core.
Yeah.
We have one of each flavor. Right. What do you want? Big physical, just big, just small but quick. You got the burner down the middle with Quez. Like you got everything you need at your disposal.
So do I think we need a big-bodied back? I'd like one. I don't think we need it. It'd be nice. It'd be a luxury, but not in the sense that that's going to be the premier back. No. I want a variety of weapons, just like we have in the receiving. We're on the same page with that. Will Miles be here? He's got us. He's got to play all 17, and I don't want to put a numeric.
All 17 though. Like you gotta think about this. And I think this is a kind of a slight to Miles that a lot of people give him in terms of like being the best back in the league type thing. Like you think of some of your top backs, the Camaras, the Cooks. These guys miss games. You know what I'm saying? They're not perfect either. They're not sitting here going a full season. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Henry, I think, just missed his whole season pretty much last season. You know what I'm saying? Like and Miles usually takes 2-3 games off a year, where he's hurt or whatnot. I think a lot of Miles' problem is more towards the fact that he was not used correctly when he was healthy, as opposed to because it's the NFL, man. Everybody's getting popped. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting hit. Everybody's getting hurt. There's not really no one in terms of the running backs. I don't really know a running back that's made it all 16 games the last, couple of years, and that still plays at a high level. That just doesn't really happen too much anymore. It's kind of a rarity. So I think he kind of gets slighted with that injury bug thing a little more than some of the other guys. Maybe because they produce more. Maybe because they have more yards. Maybe because they have more touchdowns and whatnot. So that kind of justifies their system. But Miles came from Dougie P throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants Carson Wentz to be the next freaking Aaron Rodgers or the next Tom Brady or something, just slinging that rock. And so he kind of didn't get as many carries. We all felt like he needed more carries in. And then last year, we go into first year Knicks. First 7 games, we don't even run the football. Like we're not even running it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we got other backs getting the ball too. So it's like he's not getting that full bulk load of carries that I think if you want to be a star back, you should get and you deserve to get. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like Miles kind of gets a little slighted. And I'm not saying you or just anybody. I'm just saying he kind of gets a little slighted with the injury bug thing. Considering that there's no real backs out there that kind of stay healthy. Look, everybody still gives love to CMC up in the Panthers. Oh, if he's on that field, man, he's the best back in the league, top 3. You got to watch out for him, but we don't do that really with Miles Sanders. He's put up some good numbers. That rookie year was a great season. I know he hasn't hit that 1,000-yard mark, but like you said, we have a running back by committee, which I do agree with too. And I do feel like as long as we have this offensive line, that it doesn't really matter who's back there for the most part. We made Jordan Howard look good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a huge Jordan Howard guy myself. I think he's overrated. I think, any guy that's 2 years in a row, you're getting a shoulder stinger, you can't play 6 games. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to hang it up,
When you have that running back by committee approach, I'm not overpaying for a running back. If this offensive line, and granted they did, made Jordan Howard look good, he's not even that good. I can go draft I've got 2 first-round picks next year.
So you're saying right now, if Miles Sanders goes for, let's say, 1,200 yards rushing this season, right?
Yeah, you could stop right there. He's getting a contract.
But what kind of contract are you talking? Because like you just said, he's still not going to be a bell cow. We don't need that on our team. It's not going to make us that much better. So are you looking at like $8-9 million contract a year? Or are you looking at, you're going to get this guy like, what's the top running back? $15 million a year? Yeah, is that what the top running back goes for?
Miles, despite running backs, Miles has got to stay healthy. He has a problem with that. Miles has to catch out of the backfield. If Miles gets 1,200 yards, he's already earned it. We can stop right there. We don't even have to talk about receiving. If he gets 1,200 yards, he's earned himself a Miles Sanders is never going to get paid like a top running back in the league. Nor should the Eagles pay him like a top running back in the league.
To lock him up?
Huh?
To lock him up?
Yes.
If he goes 1,200 yards, I'm locking him up.
Because if I'm running back by committee and I got a good offensive line, I can go draft another kid for cheap, have him on at the very least 4 years of a cheap contract. I'm not overpaying for Miles Sanders when I can go get his replacement in the draft.
Even though they said $25 million a year for the next couple of years, the salary cap's can go up around $15 to $25 million a year. So the money's coming. So that that $8 to $10 million contract might sound big now, but next year it might not be as big of a problem, or the year after that definitely not going to be as big of a problem. With all this TV money coming through. You still wouldn't go sign him just to keep that guy in-house, to build more Eagles, baby. That's what I hate. I hate when our team have great players and good players and they get rid of them. It's like, you won't want to see them in the midnight green for the next 7 years.
Yeah, but I'm also not like green-colored goggles where just everybody on our team's the best player that ever lived. I have to see it realistically. And right now, Miles Sanders is a B- starting running back in the league. If he becomes an A+, he's going to demand A+ money. I'm not doing what the Dallas Cowboys did to their salary cap because of Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not playing around.
What about he plays A+ this year, but he understands that he has not produced up to this year, and he takes that like $8-9 million per year contract.
Who does that? The whole point of an NFL player getting the free agency is to get that bag. We don't get a hometown discount. You have one flash in the pan year. You have one phenomenal year. You're coming off your career year, which is, by the way, a contract year. You are cashing that stack, period. He doesn't owe anything to the Eagles. If I'm Miles Sanders, anything that the Eagles, if I get 1,200 yards, anything that the Eagles offer me, I'm turning down because I know on the street.
That's my starting point right there.
Overpaid. Everybody gets overpaid in free agency. I'm 100%. I could play for the team. And if I have 1,200 yards, and you know what I mean, the San Francisco 49ers come knocking for $12 million more, love you, Philly. I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that running back position as a whole doesn't really get that kind of paid. Like, how many top paid running backs are there for real? Like, out of 32 teams, you look at like who? Derrick Henry probably get paid good money.
Yeah.
But who else? Kamara.
There's
not too many guys that get that.
Okay, let's flip that question around and say, how many of the top paid running backs in the league are on winning teams? How many teams are going to the Super Bowl be on the strength of their bell cow highest paid running back in the league? Nobody.
How much did Laguerre get? I'm not Laguerre. No. I'm not Leonard Fournette. That's what I meant.
Not much. Not much.
No, I would say Leonard Fournette contract could be what Miles Sanders can get.
Miles Sanders would not even open the envelope if you came to him with a Leonard Fournette contract.
You don't think so?
No.
But he knows he hasn't produced. He knows he's been hurt.
So what? He'll send the I'm sorry basket, the fruit basket in the mail. Nah, gee whiz, I didn't perform up to all those years where I didn't. No, man, come on.
You don't think he'd do it? That's I see. I wouldn't. Like, you gotta realize too. Like, every player's about that money, and they only can cash in whenever they can cash in. So of course you want to cash in and get the highest paid. Always. I get it.
Always.
I get it. Next,
especially if you got the opportunity to be paid as one of the top players in your position, and you've never sniffed being one of the top players at your position. You see it all the time with receivers. Receivers come off of, like, all of a sudden they're in the top 5 receiving. They get signed by another team and they stink. You know what I mean? Yeah. It happens all the time. Dudes get overpaid in free agency. They want it. Trust me, they want to get to free agency.
Christian Kirk.
There you go.
Example this year, offseason. Yep. What the heck are you doing? Giving them that kind of money, like,
yeah. I mean, if you're Devontae Adams and you get that contract, makes sense. You know what I mean? Makes sense. Yeah. But if you're that dude in Jacksonville signing all them receivers, nah, man, they ain't worth that money. Come on now.
Drew wants to know, what's your take on the left tackle position? It seems like we're in a kind of a debacle, because I heard that Driscoll was not playing great in practice at left tackle. And we all know that he can play the right tackle, the right guard. But it seems like Dillard is out for a little while, and he only can play right tackles. He can't play left. So, like, what do you think the Eagles going to do there with the position?
You just got to hope that you should have signed Jason Peters before the Cowboys.
Oh man!
I'm just
right as a backup.
Yeah.
Hey, Peters is fleecing right now. He's fleecing teams left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's getting his contracts. He's making money, and he hasn't. I guess last year, I didn't even know he played 15 games last year. It didn't seem like it. And then the next question, when they told me that, I was like, well, how many of those 15 games did he play the whole game? Remember, he played with the Eagles the last time with the Eagles. He played a lot of games, but he didn't finish a lot of games. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, that's an interesting position. You just got to hope that Jordan Mailata stays healthy. And there's no reason that guy has no injury concerns. Obviously, you're kind of risking it with Dillard being on the IR. I think he's eligible to come back after week 6 or something like that. So, yeah, you're running it a little thin. And if push comes to shove and shit happens, you just got to have that. Not to sound like Nick Sirianni, but you got to have that dog mentality, man. You got to
next man up. But I feel like, you know what? To be honest, what I feel with this team is different. Like, it's even different from the 17. Because, to be honest, I want to know how many Eagle fans out there for real, that honestly seen the 16 team, seen the upgrades in the offseason, and knew that we were winning the Super Bowl that year. Like, I did not have a clue. I didn't even think Carson was going to be that good.
No.
To be honest. Like, I was like, oh, okay, we finally got a decent quarterback. Let's see what he can do the next year. But I didn't think he was going to be, like, on this MVP type run. Like, if he stays healthy, he is the MVP type run. But I will say that I didn't think Carson was going to win our Super Bowl. Like, I felt like that was a good change. A change of a little thing, change the pace. We kind of changed up our offense a little bit, changed up a little bit on that schemes, the way we were running things. So, it was good that Nick came in and played lights out like that. It's just luck. Like, Super Bowls come from luck, talent, and skill. All three faces. So, we kind of had a little bit of all that in 17. But
yeah, people say that was lightning in a bottle, and my answer to that was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you think though? Did you think we were going to win 17?
No.
Like, what week was it? To me, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be right here on here, and I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't until Carson got hurt and he stood in there and won that freaking game. I was like, you know what? We're winning the Super Bowl. It was the Rams. It was a good game. He stood in there after being hurt, and I was like, you know what? We can do it. We can do it now. And we're gonna do it for Carson because Carson's hurt. You know what I'm saying? But Nick Foles, he was trash that first game. He came out people act like Nick's his god. And I love Nick, dude. He's always go down as a all-time Eagle to me, because we were the only team he ever played good for in the first place. And, those first couple of games, people forget, it wasn't the best games ever. He was kind of struggling a little bit. When he got to that playoff, that's when it became legendary. Nick, had some phenomenal playoff games.
I can tell you exactly when it happened because it was also a lucky phone call that I made immediately afterwards. After they beat Carolina, and I think that was week 6. Don't quote me on that, but I called my mother. And we had a great Super Bowl party. We booked an entire bar. It was expensive, but we booked an entire bar within a couple blocks walk of Broad Street because I told her it was right in Center City because I told her I was living in Philly when the Phillies won the World Series. If you would ever want to go to a Super Bowl, it would be awesome. But I'm telling you, the spot you want to be when you win it is in Philly. You don't want to be at the game. You want to be in Philly. Now, I'm sure the people at the game had a wonderful time, and I'm sure they did.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, but
I was in Alabama and I had a great time that night. I was buying shots for everybody. Shots, yeah, whoa,
and
crazy.
So it was after week 6, after we beat Carolina. I called my mother up and I said, "Listen, remember we always talked about if the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl, you should put down a deposit and rent a place out." And she said, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're gonna want to do that now. Jump on it now." She goes, "What are you talking?" Yeah, she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, this is the best Eagles team I've ever seen. This is it. We're winning the Super Bowl this year. You better go fight. You better go find." And we knew a guy. We were Flyer season ticket holders too, and sat next to a guy who owned this great restaurant bar right off of Broad Street. But even he took the deposit. He agreed to it, but it was on a dare. It was they're not winning the Super Bowl. So, okay, I agreed to it, took the deposit. Lo and behold, I was right. Week 6. I called it week 6. This is the best Eagles team I've ever seen. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Dang, that's pretty good, EROCK.
Yeah, thank you.
I watched Eagles for a long time. In week 6, I was still not on the boat. I was loving what I was seeing, and I was hoping that it progressed. But all them heartbreaks, man. The 5 and McNabb, man, they kind of get me oh man, I don't know if I can go all in on it. I was not ready until after the Rams game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because that clinched us to first place, right? And we had the first round bye. I was like, all right, now we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We can do some things. Now tell me this, Rock. Is this year's roster better than 2017?
On paper, yeah. On paper, absolutely.
Well, I guess it's easier to say it that way. Do you think they will be better than 2000? Do you think this is a Super Bowl team?
Not yet.
Ooh.
Not yet. I think they can. But I'm not. If I'm a betting man, not yet. I'm now. Don't get me wrong. I'm feeling 2017 vibes, but 2017 just came out of fucking nowhere. It just came out of left field, and it was the perfect storm of everything. And what I'm trying to do less this season, because I have hopes, and trust me, I hope they do go, and I hope they do win, and I hope they do get their second.
Right.
But I am, as a natural, maybe cynical Philadelphia fan, I am wary of hype. When people start talking about the Birds too much, I start to cringe a little bit. And when people start picking the Eagles too much, I start to cringe a little bit because that's hype. And every time this team has been hyped up, they've fallen woefully under expectations.
To that point, though, Rock, we ain't never had this team. I watched Eagles for a long time. We ain't never had a team like this. I feel like this is the best, and the hype is well deserved. Like you said, I keep telling people, we've never been paper champs. No year I don't know, one year, and even some of the deep playoff runs, we were in paper chat. We still had holes those years that you can clearly see. You clearly knew the holes. You know what I'm saying? But we were always, we're known to be fighters. You know, we're known for battlers. You know, like we had a dominating defense back in the day. You know, we knew the defense coming strong. We're hoping the offense get it together or whatnot. And we always had a good team, but we never had this type of team before. I feel like we never had the depth. I feel like we're the deepest team in the NFL. Like, what other team can you tell me? You can tell me some stars that might be better at certain positions, but you cannot tell me another team that's deeper than this team that we got this year. That I figure, you know what I'm saying? If you might be able to tell me, but I'm saying that's how I feel about this team. Like, you can't tell me another Eagles roster that was ever this good. Like, this is the first year for me that we've ever been paper champs. Like, off paper, you know, you starting to see people say we're number one team in the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? We're number one team. You know, we're going to playoffs. We're going to be number one seed. We're going to be number between 1 and 3 in terms of seeding the playoffs, you know, off the jump. Even that 17 team, like I said, I didn't feel it till the Rams game, but even going into that season, like we knew we were going to be better. We knew we had a quarterback finally, but we did not have the talent that we had on this team, you know, right then and there. That happened throughout the season. You know, we got Jai and all these guys like throughout the season. So as we were rolling, we kept adding pieces to the puzzle to keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? To get a little bit better, a little bit better. But this team, we've been good like for months now. Like it's game 1 in 2 days, and like I felt this way about this team like 2 months ago after the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like when we picked up Bradbury after the draft, I'm like, okay, we're done. We didn't even need to go out and get Charlie Connor Johnson, whatever his name is. You know, Saints. That's another great pickup we picked up. We didn't even have to do that. I felt like our team by itself, right then and there, was good enough. To be honest, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I feel like we didn't even need AJ Brown. That's how confident I was on development of Smitty. Smitty lit him up. Smitty was beating double teams as a rookie. Him getting better, learning the pro game, getting a little bit bigger, that was going to make him that much more dangerous this year, right? And then you had Quez, who got better from year 1. That was going to make him that much more better. I was still on the save Rager train for a little bit. Like, you know, like, okay, Rager's 4th receiver. Hey, let's keep him. You know, we can have the best foursome in the NFL if he stays. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that would have been good, too, to see that happen. But we did get AJ, and I'm not mad at it at all. 0%. I think that just made us that much more better.
Yeah. No, it definitely is a stacked roster. It's going to be an interesting season. Before I get on out of here, I'm going to give you my season prediction, right?
Give it to me.
So a season prediction and a season expectation. And this is where I'm at. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. This is just where I'm at. I got him at 11 and 6. That's the prediction. I expect them to win the division. I expect them to host a playoff game. And I expect them to win said playoff game. Now, whatever happens in the divisional round, happens in the divisional round. Anything moving forward, to me, is house money because I've seen progress. You made the playoffs year 1 of Jalen Hurts being the full-time starter and Nick Sirianni being head coach and Jonathan Gannon being a brand new defensive coordinator, so on and so forth. You improved the roster. You took the next step. Okay. Then that's the third year. I'm really hoping that's the Super Bowl year. But anything after the divisional round, God bless. You know what I mean? If you go and win that Super Bowl, it would be nice to have another parade down Broad Street. But that's what I'm predicting. That's the expectation. I'm not trying to put too much on this team. Again, I'm very wary of the expectation on the Birds being high because I've been there before. We do better when we're flying under the radar.
That is true.
You know,
I got us floor 12-5, ceiling whatever. You know, 17-0. The roster, second easiest schedule. I think we're one of the best rosters in the league. We can beat everybody on our roster. I don't see one of those teams that we can't beat. Not saying this is going to be a blowout. I'm just saying we can beat every single team on our roster. I got us floor 12-5. My prediction, we go 14-3, and the ceiling, whatever, 17-0, 16-1, whatever you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how good I think this roster is, you know, this year. What about this game Sunday?
I think it's a dub.
But you think it's going to be a blowout fashion, or you think it's going to be a close game?
Well,
Like
the Lions, look, they're a reflection of their head coach, so they keep fighting. I just don't think, from a talent standpoint, they can go toe to toe with the Eagles right now. I don't think that's where they are in their arc. I think the Eagles are a far better team, and they're going to be a little outmatched. And a lot of what they're going to see on defense, they've never seen before, because we're completely switching schemes. And anytime you have a competitive advantage with no film on you, that's a good thing. So yeah, I think the Eagles are just the better team.
score prediction.
27-17.
I like it. I got 31-14. I think the first quarter is going to be a close quarter. I feel like the Lions have upgraded this year. They're a little bit better than they were. They are missing some pieces, but they're going to play hard that first quarter. They've been on hard knocks. They're feeling the vibes. Detroit's sold out. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping it's because Eagles fans travel well, and that's the reason why they're sold out there. But they're even trying to do things to keep Eagle fans out of there by making it so if they only got walk-up seats, and you got to buy more tickets to even get the walk-up seats, but the tickets aren't high. So I know Eagle fans probably buying them up anyway. But yeah, so I think 31-14 would be a good, maybe the first quarter be close, and then every quarter after that we kind of pull away and start showing our dominance, because we want the team to be the team that we think that they can be. They got to destroy the Lions. They have to. That's just point blank period. So, but hey, man, thanks again for coming on the show. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at, and we go ahead and get you out of here, my
guy. Twitter and Instagram, EROCK_Eagles, EROCK_Eagles.
Hell yeah. Thanks again, Rock. For all you guys, go hit that subscribe. His link is inside of the chat. Man, fly, Eagles, fly. And it's almost game time, Eagle fans. It's almost there. We're less than 48 hours away to see our Birds destroy, the Detroit Lions. It's going to be a great show. Man, I thank EROCK again for coming on the show. And thank you guys for supporting me. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe to BGN Sports Media, subscribe to BIRDGANG 31, and let's keep the movement going. New season, new vibes. Coming on a lot of special guests throughout the season. Let's go. We out. Peace.